Hello, and welcome to Shedding the Bitch Radio, where you can discuss, debate, and get advice on how to discover and shed the bitches of fear, insecurity, self-doubt, and negative mindsets so you can realize your dreams and life purpose and create and accelerate the riches you want in life. Join us here live every Tuesday at noon Eastern and dialogue with us at 818-572-2910. You can also chat with us at Blog Talk Radio /SheddingTheBitch or share your stories on our website at sheddingthebitch.com. Whatever the bitch is that's holding you back from living your life to the fullest, it's not worth giving up the riches in life that you deserve. So call in now and let Bernadette Boas know what's holding you back. 818-572-2910.
Good day, everyone. How are you? I am attempting, just as an FYI, this is Bernadette Boas, and you're listening and or trying to watch Shedding the Bitch Radio on our Shedding the Bitch YouTube page. Had a little bit of challenge with Facebook Live, but I expect that it's up and running. I can see my lovely face. But how are you? Oh, my gosh. It's not the first Tuesday of October, but it feels like it because we are now into fall. This is the first Tuesday of the fiscal month, which is also the first month of the last quarter of 2020. So I hope you're doing fabulous and ready and pumped up to kind of close out this year that's just been one crazy, undefinable, unexpressionable, just every emotion you can come up with. That's what this year has been about. And yet I want to talk about it's not over yet, but in a good way. We have, 3 months, 120 days to really knock out whatever goals and objectives that we had set for the year. And we just need to kind of keep our heads down, kind of minimize all the noise that's going on around us, and just make it a fabulous, fabulous closing. And more importantly, ramp up to the new year, because that's what's really key. Two things are key. I shouldn't say that, because two things are key. Really optimizing everything and giving everything that you've got to this day, this week, this month, and this quarter. At the same time, it's also it's going to springboard what January 2021 looks like. So if any of you are on the fence about whether or not you're going to, keep the foot on the pedal and keep moving forward and really accelerating your achievements and your successes, or maybe you're questioning and saying, well, it's almost over anyway, so why don't I just kind of put 2020 behind me and prepare for 2021? The latter is not the option you want to be choosing. It could be the one you choose, but it shouldn't be the one that you're choosing, because there is tremendous opportunity out there for you to really, really finish strong. But before we get into that, I want to welcome our new listeners. The show has been picking up speed, and I'm so excited about that. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we're both broadcasting live on Facebook, video, and then broadcasting through any of the streaming services where you download your podcast. So that's fabulous. So I want to thank all the new listeners in joining our community and taking in what it is that we have to offer here in the Shedding the Bitch community. We are here to provide you the tips and tools and strategies and resources and support that you need to really create riches in your life. And I am passionate about that, and therefore look for any way possible to kind of fulfill your needs as to what it is that you need, where do you need it, when do you want it, so forth and so on. So I want to thank any of the new listeners out there for joining in. And, be sure that you're leaving your comments, you're leaving your ratings, you're leaving your feedback, your likes, subscribe and follow, because that just gives us an indication if we're on the right track and or what else, you might be needing. Okay? You can always also reach out to me at Bernadette Boas at ballofireinc.com, and I would love to hear from you. At the same time, I want to thank the regular listeners that we have. You're the ones who have been liking and following and subscribing and tweeting and Facebooking and sharing what you are, enjoying and liking and taking in and finding valuable in our episodes each week. And so I absolutely want to thank you for coming back and staying with us. And like I said, please comment and like and follow and rate and subscribe, all the different things, both on YouTube and on Facebook, but also Blog Talk Radio, where we actually broadcast from, as well as go into iTunes and Stitcher and TuneIn and Spotify, and be sure to download us on any of the platforms that you do for your podcast, and leave comments and ratings so we can ensure that we're delivering what it is that you're looking for. All right. This episode is brought to you by North Georgia Tax Solutions. They are a full-service financial and tax services organization who service small to corporate-sized clients all over the country, not just in Georgia, but all over the country. So if you would like to learn more about them, go to ngtaxsolutions.com and tell Debbie I said hello. But that's North Georgia Tax Solutions. Now, so today we are talking finishing strong, finishing the race that you started, whether or not that you're still moving, maybe you've stalled, maybe you've stopped, maybe you were close to throwing in the towel and giving up. And I'm going to help you not do that, not give up on yourself, because that is what you'd be doing. Yes, you're giving up on your goals, but you're really giving up on yourself. So, like I said, it is an opportunity. Every day is an opportunity for you to hit that reset button. And if you were lagging or exhausted or tired, then you certainly have an opportunity to say, you know what? Today's a different day. This very moment is different. Maybe I was a little bit, frustrated and stuck, even as you tuned into this episode. And now you're saying to yourself, well, wait a minute, maybe she has some tips and advice that I could be using in order to move myself and get unstuck and get myself motivated and energized. And it was just yesterday when I was talking to one of my clients about this exact thing. And therefore, I did think that it was important for us to put a focus on it actually all week long. And I'll share with you a little bit about that later. But because we all do. We all get stuck. We all get frustrated. We all get overwhelmed. We all get to the point, and it does happen when when it starts getting dark early. I don't know about you, but when it starts getting dark early and you feel like you should be in bed as opposed to sitting up, maybe even working, and yet at the same time you want to stay in bed in the morning. It's starting to get cold in the morning. It's easy to start to hibernate. Just like animals do. But at the same time, that's not serving you, and it's not serving your goals and objectives, and it's not serving the opportunities that are out there for you to take advantage of, even in the last quarter. All right? So let's see. I just want to make sure I cover everything. So if you're ready to take on your goals, and maybe you don't have goals, and we're going to talk about that. And if you are at a point where you're just like, I'm just ready to sit on my couch and eat bonbons. Let me share a story with you that also kind of provoked this whole idea of finishing strong. So last weekend, not this past weekend, the weekend before, a friend of mine and I participated in a pickleball tournament. If you listen to the show at all, you will hear me mention how obsessed I am with the sport of pickleball. If you don't know what pickleball is, just Google it, and you'll find it. And I won't take your time now to describe it. But I am obsessed with the sport, and I started playing tournaments from the get-go of when I found and started playing. But so it's been about a year and a half, and so this couple of weekends ago, a friend of mine and I participated in a tournament. Now on a typical average day, have a lot of energy, and I have very high endurance. And so the two of us, we started out, and if you're fortunate enough, you could play 12, 15, games in order to get through all the different rounds and all the different levels, so forth and so on, toward a medal. And as anybody would, we started off strong. And, now we didn't win a couple of our earlier games. At the same time, it had nothing to do with whether or not we were going strong. It had more to do with we have a little bit more, training to do on some of our skills, which is perfectly, fine and understandable. So we were going, and we, started, going through the brackets, as they call them. And so we're in our 6th game, we're in our 9th game. And as you get into that ninth game, which could lead to 12 if you're playing best of 3, you're starting to get fatigued. It's now warmer out, the sun is out, especially in Atlanta in September. It can either be really hot or it could be, a nice fall day, but it was hot. And my partner too, though, she was really, really physically fatigued and in pain, and I could see it written all over her face. And her movement started to drain as well. And so we both got to a point where, we're going to fight through this. Fortunately, I wasn't in the physical pain that she was, so I was able to be there to support her to kind of fight through the pain. And she is that determined, strong-willed individual, and she wasn't going to quit on herself either. Even though she felt, all that momentum and excitement and strength she had at the very beginning in the morning was beginning to wane. And yet at the same time, it would be really easy to kind of give up a game and kind of move on to being able to be out of the tournament and sitting on a bench and watching everybody else and relaxing. And yet I could see on every cell of her face that wasn't going to happen. She was going to give it everything she had. And then whatever happened. And that's kind of where I went, is I said, okay, we're both fatigued. We're both worn out. One of us is in pain, but I'm there to, 100% support her. And therefore, whatever happens, happens. So we gave it everything that we had, and we gave it our best. There were some things that, truthfully, there would be things that we would work on individually and as a team as we went forward. But when we did lose that match and get, kind of booted out of the tournament, we couldn't do anything more than walk off with our, head raised and very proud of ourselves and very committed to just continuing to work and practice on our game. And so it would have been really easy for us to leave that match and go watch the pros play and watch other friends and other people play and just be like, it's not important. Who cares? It's just a tournament. Start making a lot of excuses. And even stall in getting back into the game and back into even rec play and practice. It would have been easy to do that. And some people do when they feel like their ego got completely deflated as a result of losing, especially matches that you thought, you should and are qualified to win. But we didn't. We both walked out of there and were even more determined just to simply practice, and get better. So that's really the crux of everything that we're going to be talking about today, is just, you're going to wane, you're going to get stuck, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to kind of lose momentum, maybe get off track, maybe, get to a point where you're not sure of what to do next. But at the same time, all that matters is that you keep doing it, that you just keep taking constant action consistently in order for you to be able to really leverage and optimize what it is that you wanted to accomplish in the first place. Because many of us, and I don't know about you, but many of us don't just flippantly come up with goals for ourselves. Now, at the beginning of the year, as we're sipping champagne and as we're all excited about a new year, ahead of us, a number of us will kind of just pull resolutions out of the air and get, and have really big rosy eyes in looking at what it is that we want to accomplish. But especially those, that are working for themselves and know that they have to, get out there and they have to kill in order to eat, right? That old hunting mentality. So they have to get to the point where they are setting very strict, very structured, very realistic set of goals. But at the same time, there's opportunities to just take it for granted or take it, very loosely and not really commit, because pursuing and achieving goals is all about commitment, conviction, belief in yourself. And so, there's a good many of us, and that's why, 80+% of people who make New Year's resolutions, drop them by the time February rolls around. But then there's those who kind of, continue on and really work toward those goals. So this is an opportunity on September 29th. We're not even in October officially, but on September 29th for you to just say, okay, wait, I still have 3 months, 120 days plus one, in order to get to the finish line of this year, of 2020, making 2020 the best year possible, which will only lend itself with a lot of energy, a lot of confidence, a lot of focus, a lot of determination, a lot of persistence in making 2021 even that much better. So that's what we want to really kind of focus on, okay? Now, when it comes to this idea of finishing strong, I just found some fun facts. that I thought I'd share with you just to kind of have a giggle. And these fun facts are kind of aligned to finishing strong, and they come right out of everyday, I'll call it culture, okay? So I'll speak from a retail perspective. The majority of sales revenue in retail comes out of the fourth quarter. Actually, probably November, December, the last 2 months of the quarter. Most of the points scored in football occur a few minutes before the game even ends. Think about that. Retail, the majority of the sales come out of the last 2 months. Football, the majority of the points come in the last few minutes. The last seconds in a race determines who wins, as every winner wants to give the most effort. I took these verbatim. So, the last race, if you ever, whether it's a marathon or a sprint, whether you've participated in a 5K, half marathon, or marathon, that the moment you see that finish line, your heart starts racing, you start getting really excited. Hopefully there's noise around cheering all the runners, into the finish line. And all of a sudden you find an energy and an excitement and a confidence that you may have stalled on or lost or got stuck in for the distance behind you. And so, you can only imagine that is what it means to finish strong. And then the other thing, and for those of you who listen on a regular basis, how much of a goal planner and advocate I am. And so you work harder when there are deadlines to meet. Think about that. If you were to, and it's why oftentimes I even have my clients make, even though they have long-term, like year-long goals, I then have them break it down into, quarter, month, week, and then day. Because some goals, people will say to me, oh, well, I have a goal to earn X amount of money in the next 3 months. Or let's say in the next year. And yet it's January, February, March. And they're not achieving what it is that they set out toward that longer term goal, because they're so focused on, 11, 10 months from now. It's like, wait, They say that they want to lose 20, 25 pounds, over the next year. And the next year is so far out there in the distance that they are like, oh, okay, when they start, kind of stalling and start getting frustrated, they can easily kind of give up or stall out, lose momentum, because they feel that there's a lot of runway that they can make up to get to that end goal at the end of the year. So I would prefer that you say, okay, I have a grander goal for the year, but I also have my quarterly, monthly, weekly goals that are going to give me more focus and determination to meet that deadline, to meet that goal at the end of the week or at the end of the month. Because we do all tend to rev up when all of a sudden a deadline is looming. Think about taxes. Think about, if you have kids, getting ready for the school year. Think about a project at work where you have a deadline. We tend to, many of us will start early and finish, but a majority of us will kind of push the envelope and wait until, almost the last minute. I happen to be that way a lot. I work really well under pressure. I'm really clear and focused and determined when I'm put under pressure. So if I'm given a very aggressive deadline and or my actions or behavior caused a deadline that was realistic to become very aggressive because I didn't start early, then I am very adaptable to saying, okay, I am still going to meet that deadline, even if it means I have to, be at my desk 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, as opposed to 6 or 8. So there are just some, really easy, simple, fun things to consider when you're thinking about not necessarily giving up, but even stalling out or thinking that, the one thing I get all the time is, well, it's fourth quarter. Who's going to buy from me in quarter? Who's going to hire me in fourth quarter? Who's going to give me a raise or a promotion in fourth quarter? Who's going to buy my products in fourth quarter? And all I would have to say to that is everyone, someone, a group of people. So don't kind of, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on, the idea that you can't generate a great amount in the next 120 days, because you can. Okay? It's just a matter of how you focus and what you do and how you apply it. So be okay also that if you have stalled, gotten stuck, even given up on the goals that you had previously, be okay with that. To say, okay, well, today's a new day. I'll recommit to those goals, or I'll even define new ones. Okay? And then what it's going to take in order for you to do that and to get back in the game, so to speak, and to finish strong is really a need to be very intentional and very purposeful about what it is that you're doing. Anytime that you feel like you're waning, getting stuck, frustrated, unsure, insecure about something, the best thing that you could just do is step back and get really clear on what it is you were setting out to do in the first place. And then once you reestablish that goal and maybe change it, maybe even, accelerate it, maybe make it even bigger than it is, or make it smaller than it is. Once you've done that, then you can recommit to that goal and to those actions and to what it is that you're setting out to do. And that alone will then find you the energy and focus and clarity and persistence and determination to kind of start taking actions and moving forward. And, many of whether it's here in the Shedding the Bitch community or, in our Shift to Riches community, that I love small steps leading to big results. Just small steps, small actions You don't have to do anything huge. Will lead you to big results. And so when you're in that place of, I've lost some mojo, just get clear, reestablish initially, and then start taking small steps toward it. But you're going to have to recommit. That's, a big gotcha for many people. They all of a sudden will share with me, yes, I have these goals, and we lay them out, and we get very detailed and specific about them. And we even have our action plan defined and ready to go, and they march off to start acting on it. And then we come back, because accountability is a huge part of it. So we come back to discuss what's working, what's not, what got in the way, what's, accelerating you forward, what needs to be done next. And then all of a sudden, if I sense that there's some stalling or excuses or avoidance or, totally ignoring the work that needs to get done, it kind of gives me an indication that they weren't truly committed to it to begin with. That, yes, they might have told me, they might have told their boss, they might have told their family what it is that they want to do and what it is that they want to accomplish and by when. All the right words, all the right things are being said, and yet their actions or lack thereof prove to me, especially as a coach, that they were never really committed to them to begin with. So let me, tell you something that actually recently, a couple months ago, happened that kind of caught me off guard, but made me very aware that other people are watching. Do you ever get that sense that there are other people watching? I just turned off a light of some sort. I am tangled up here. Pardon me. Hold on a minute. I got all tangled up. So a couple of months ago, I happened to catch up with an old colleague / friend, and they had been around while I was working on my script, basically 2018 through 2019. And this would be my film script. So we kind of caught up again a couple months ago, and they said, so I get the sense that you've given up on your script. So hence, am I finishing strong or not, right? Tying it back to our subject. And I said, what do you mean? They're like, well, we haven't, seen anything or heard anything or gotten any updates in regards to the progress and, whether or not you're out there, pitching it and presenting it. And I said, interesting. And they were like, why? And I said, I haven't given up on anything. I said, however, what I did do is realize that coming into this year, it was no longer the number one priority that I had, that there was other things that I needed to be addressing first in order to then really commit and put everything into, following through and finishing up and doing what I need to do on the script. And I said, but it's interesting that's your observation, that I kind of gave up or, didn't finish strong. And they said, well, no. I just, it was just something I did observe and did notice and thought I would just raise it up to you. And I appreciated that. I appreciated that. I appreciated the fact that, because, I've been working it a long time. I appreciated the fact that people were interested and people were noticing and people were aware and paying attention to what it is I was doing. Majority of the time, most of the time they were sitting in the background, but at the same time when all of a sudden they sense that I have, I got stuck or I've given up on something, I was certainly happy, even though it was kind of, I'll be honest, it was a little bit off-putting when it was raised up to me, but then in the conversation, I was very appreciative that they had a concern and that they were interested. Because it wasn't done in any way as kind of ridicule or judgment. It was certainly done out of, curiosity and interest in kind of how I'm doing and what I'm doing and what my focus is. So I raised that up just to kind of illustrate that you may decide at some point that the goals that you had set for yourself are no longer of the priority. They may not go away, but you may drop them, just as you may raise up another one and put it in its place. The key here is just having those goals, having those things to aim for, to target on, to focus on, to give you that clarity and that energy for you to then, finish the race, finish it strong, finish it in a way that you're proud of, even if you didn't come in first place or fourth place, or, you even came in last. You at least will have finished. Make sense? The other thing I want you to consider, too, is I want you to consider looking at your goals, especially if you have lost momentum, if you are questioning, what do I do in, the last quarter of a month, last 120 days, then start looking at your goals and focusing on the actions to take versus the measurement or the result that you're looking for. And what I mean by that is if you're in your head in any way, shape, or form and you're trying to find a way to re-energize yourself, then just pick an action or two as opposed to focus on the result. So if you, for instance, if you're in a business and you own a business and you're all in your head about, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to sell $10,000 over the next 3 months to meet my goal. As opposed to focusing on that because it's draining you, it's putting pressure on you, put that aside and come up with and look at your action plan and pick out 1 or 2 or 3 of the main actions that need to be taken in order to reach that goal and put all your energy, all your focus, all your clarity into those actions as opposed to worrying about the end goal, the end result. So if you, for instance, had, my action would be to secure 5 prospect meetings a month over the next 3 months because you've calculated that focusing on that will then get to your end goal of that $10,000. But instead of focusing on the $10,000, you're focusing on making sure whatever it is that you need to do and how you need to do it and when you need to do it is all on those 5 prospect meetings a month. And that's all. So now you've kind of taken all the pressure of that end result down into specifically focusing on your goals. And so, for instance, let me give you another one. If you are looking to lose weight, right, and you've told yourself that you're going to give yourself 6, 9 months, maybe the year to lose 25 pounds. But now you're, 3 months away from finishing that year that you gave yourself, and you're all discouraged because you haven't gotten close to that 25-pound goal result. Well, instead of focusing on that and getting all wigged out over that, just simply say, okay, so what were one of my actions that I was going to be taking in order to achieve that? And it's giving up sugar. I'm going to give up sugar for the next 120 days. And then whatever happens at the end of it from a weight pound loss perspective, whether it's my goal of 25 pounds or it's something else, well, I'm just going to simply put all my energy, focus, and clarity and confidence and persistence and determination into reducing my sugar intake. Now, this actually didn't necessarily consciously happen to me this past 30 days, but at the beginning of September, I saw this challenge. It was a challenge post on Facebook, and it said, can you do this, for 30 days? Can you give up? And it listed a whole laundry list of kind of treats, I'll call them, all the good stuff, ice cream, fried food, fast food, candy, cookies, donuts, cake, white bread. It listed this whole thing. And at the bottom of it says, I bet you can't. Well, don't tell me I can't do something. Do you ever get like that? No. If you really want to motivate me, tell me I can't do it, and I'm going to do it. So here it said, I bet you can't. And I was like, it was August something, late August. I thought, hell, I can do that. And so instead of focusing, I was glad my goal wasn't the 25 pounds or 15 pounds, whatever it would be, because that to me might have been, just a little bit overwhelming, and just something I, kind of put too much pressure on myself to do. But to focus on giving up these items, and only giving up those items, not worrying about my fitness, not worrying about the rest of my diet and my health, just focusing on the items in this challenge. It allowed me, gave me so much room and so much breath and so much confidence to say, yeah, I can do that. I can focus on those things and not worry about the bigger, more overwhelming objective, result, goal. So I plastered that image on my bathroom window or bathroom mirror, and every morning and every evening, or anytime I'm in the bathroom, I just kind of look over it and scan it and say, okay, yes, I can do this each and every day. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. Now, it's been, since it is going to be the end of the month, so I'm 28 days in, and trust me, I want to dive into a gallon of ice cream and just swallow up all the candy I can find. But I haven't, and just narrowing and focusing on the action has really allowed me to just say, okay, I can do this, and I can just focus on these, certain things, these few things. So look at your goals in this last, did I say 120 days? I've been saying 120 days. I can't count. It's 90 days. 90 days. Just focus on the actions, instead of the bigger goal. If you're in a place where you feel, okay, I'm already going to miss achieving my yearly goal that I had set 9 months ago, and therefore I'm no longer, going to be motivated, going to be persistent, going to be determined, going to be focused on those goals. Revise them, down or up, and then just focus on the actions you need to take to finish strong. And, the other key thing is just to simply take action. Just take constant action consistently. And what does that mean? Do one thing all the time. Not the same thing all the time. Just be doing something all the time that will move your goal forward, that will move your confidence forward, your energy, your focus, your clarity forward. Just always be doing something. Now, that can tend to also get hard for people, especially if they're in a point where they are already stuck, and maybe they're sitting on their couch very comfortably for, hours, days, even weeks. In my case, early last year, it was months. And, the key for that would be that you're also doing something. And if it's not toward your goal, like if it has nothing to do because maybe you're exhausted and just kind of over having to focus on it, then distract yourself with something else. Start a new project, start a new hobby, start a new task around the house or in the office, whatever the case might be. If you really do feel as if, whatever's not interesting you anymore, then switch it up. And if that, it's almost like that saying, if you love someone, set them free, and if they come back, it was meant to be. Well, it's very similar to that. So let me give you a for instance where my script was concerned. I've been working on the script for a while, several years. And it wasn't 1819. I want to say then it was probably 2016. And I had gotten it ripped apart so many times to where it didn't even look like my work anymore. It didn't look like my story. It didn't look like my heart anymore, to where I did put it in the drawer and give up on it. Now, my soul knew I wasn't giving up. I just needed to separate from it and, kind of change up my goals, because it was a big chunk of my goals, change up my goals and just distract myself with something else that, maybe I didn't put as such a high priority or didn't put a focus on. And so I went off, and that's what I did. And next thing you know, I don't recall exactly what happened. I know it's the person I found, but something happened that triggered me to say, okay, I'm going to go and find a screenwriter/coach to help me with this and to ensure that it is my story, it's my voice, it's my everything. And so that was into 2018 where I found Phil and started working with him. And the next thing you know, I'm all back to, because my soul said, you're not done with this goal, this script. You just needed some time off. And so I distracted myself for a time and went off and did other things and then found my way back to the script in 2018-19. Now this year, like I said at the very beginning, I intentionally said I need to put that aside for now and I need to work on building my business, building my practice, building my income, so forth and so on. So be okay with that. Just be okay with that. Now, one last suggestion I would have for you to finish strong and really accelerate over the next 90 days, not 120 as I was saying, but 90 days, would be for you to use this concept of start, stop, and continue. And this has been a concept, it's used a lot when it comes to 360 assessment in business, whether it's, your own business or in corporate. And it's the way that they capture feedback from people around you. And yet at the same time, I use it all the time with my clients and with friends if they were to ask, and with myself when it comes to when I am at a point where I need to see that finish line and I need to feel that pressure of that deadline and I need to feel that excitement of, finishing. And I'll sit down if I'm, in that lull and I'll say, okay, so what do I need to, start doing that I'm not doing that will accelerate and propel me forward and give me the confidence that I need and the boost and the motivation and the inspiration? What do I need to stop doing because it's getting in my way? And, a lot of cases, you may be able to relate. A lot of cases, that's you're getting in your own way, let alone it could be other people, it could be other things, it could be other places, it could be this year especially, there's tons of things that are now getting in people's way that weren't there before, and there was enough before, let alone add on, having the family come into the house full time and, having the kids and having schooling and you working remotely, so forth and so on. But don't use them as excuses. Don't use them as crutches. Don't use them as ways to avoid or ignore what it is that you need to start doing or stop doing. All right, so take a look at what you need to start doing. So, for instance, you could start getting up an hour earlier, before all the chaos of the day and getting done what you need to get done. You can, if you are feeling fatigued or you could always, start doing jumping jacks. You can stop avoiding the phone or avoiding email. You can, and then work on continuing, believing that you have what it is and what it's going to take in order for you to finish strong. Whatever it is, just know, constant action consistently, and you will finish this year very strong, and you will have the opportunity to be prepared for next year. All right, makes sense? So the last one was just to evaluate what you can start, stop, and continue doing in order to really give you what you need to finish this year strong and go into next year with a bang. All right? I will see you right back here next Tuesday at noon Eastern time for another episode of Shedding the Bitch. Have a fabulous, rich week, everybody. Take care.